Everybody, good afternoon. It's Jane from Surface Anthology and Chalk Mercantile. I'm excited to get this little project started. If you guys follow me, oh, my hair, I was just outside with my dogs and it's windy and rainy and my hair's blown up. But I did a little show and tell of my latest Goodwill haul. And one of the things that I showed you guys was this little, I'm going to call it a tea towel rack, because I wouldn't put a big wet towel on here. It's this lightweight, I would say 1920s piece. I paid $3.99 for. It's got like a paperboard backing and just this sweet little wooden, it's all wood, rack. And you know, I debated whether I should paint this, but honestly I'm not using it, it's just sitting, so I'm gonna paint it. So if this was a fine antique, I wouldn't touch it. I would just clean it, put some wax on it, and call it a day. So let me tell you what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to be painting this, and I really love the white that I used yesterday by Mud Paint. It's called China White, and thanks you guys, I'm now sold out. So I'm going to be ordering more of that, but it's just this really beautiful off-white. So I'm digging it. And I pulled out my little scraps here from Iron Orchid because I want to do something with this space. It looks like there was something glued here. You know, who knows, right? But it's gone. So I started playing around. I love to do this. You know, looking at the molds, thinking about the possibilities, you know, what I could do. And this is what I do. I literally sit and I'll play around and say, well, we could try that, you know. And that's what I was doing, messing around. And if you've been following me for a little while, I made a gallery, a miniature gallery wall on a tray that I just love. It's so sweet. So then I thought, well, I could grab the frames and cameos molds and put those in here and do something like that. I think I'm going to use this up in my sewing room. My last bird, my last son, my middle child, he's actually a twin, but he's the second one out, Christopher, just moved into his little condo he bought. He's been rehabbing it for the last 6 months. It was kind of a mess, but it looks beautiful now. But now I have my sewing room back, so I'm excited. So I thought I could use this to put fabric over, or you know, my ribbons, whatever I'm using. It's really useful. Then I thought, you know what? I have all these scraps. I'm working on a quilt now, and it's all Liberty of London prints that I love. You guys, this cotton is dreamy. It is not cheap. It's really fine. It's called lawn. They call it Tana lawn, but it's this beautiful fine cotton. But look at these really happy prints. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll do a white ground, and then I could take these little frames molds and use my scraps, because these are so tiny. And I'm like, ooh, I can decoupage these on the middle of the frames. So right now, that's what I think I'm going to do, because I have, and I know all you quilters, all you sewers, we have a lot of scraps, and I don't throw them away. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And these are small enough, and you can decoupage fabric. So that's what I'm thinking about. But look at how sweet this will look right inside of the frames mold, and it'll really feature these fabrics that I adore. So far, that's what I've come up with. And it's good to play around like this with projects and, you know, mess around and just let your imagination go and try stuff. Don't judge it. Don't do that. We're all hard on ourselves. Don't go there. Just say, you know, I can make a sweet little, you know, if you have a farmhouse, you could do these little bee molds and maybe do, I showed you guys how to do copper leafing with a honeycomb stencil. How cute would that be? So go with your gut. Don't second guess it. If it doesn't work out, as my grandson says, try again. And that's exactly what you do. Especially with these little projects that we're picking up at Goodwill, you know, for $4, you know, have fun. I'm getting my fabric out of the way because I don't want paint. All right, so I'm just gonna grab, I've got my I wet my brush, and I'm starting with my 1-inch Authentico brush, and I'm using the China White. I cleaned this piece. So now I'm just gonna paint. And I am sure this piece has gesso on it. These little white flowers are carved, like they took away the top layer of this kind of Barney brown red paint. This is definitely going to need 2 coats, but I just wanted you to see how I bravely go right over this with the mud paint. And like I tell my students, most of the time, the first coat doesn't look good. And it shouldn't. If it looks too good, I always feel you may be applying too much paint. The other thing I wanted to mention is I am in Connecticut. I'm in Middlesex County, so like right down the middle. I'm kind of towards the south along the Connecticut River. But there's a wonderful outdoor vintage show in June that I'm going to be doing. I'm so excited that shows are back, you know, vintage shows, fairs, all that kind of stuff. It's so great because I've really missed them. But I am going to be offering a workshop there. They have a big tent for me and other instructors, and I'm going to be offering a workshop on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, I don't have the date, but I will be posting it. But I want to get ideas from you guys. What would be a cool workshop? Now, you have to keep in mind, we're not going to be in a studio with water, sinks, you know, electricity, blow dryers. So I'm kind of, you know, I asked my fellow decorative painters in my group. They gave me some good ideas. But if you guys have any ideas of what kind of workshop you would go to, and I know what's going to happen is people are going to go to the workshop, and I did this. I went to the Country Living Fair and did this. You take your workshop and then you go shopping. So it's definitely that kind of thing, you know, so there will be time, and that's why I'm so happy that I'll be teaching in the morning. So let me know in the comments if you're like, oh, you could do this or this, you know, stencils or transfers. And I may, if I do a project that needs a painted base, I think that I would paint the base myself, and then, because we're not going to be able to dry it, we're not going to have blow dryers. It could be raining, you know. Hopefully not. So anyway, let me know. Let me know your thoughts, what you guys would like for something like that. Or maybe you've taken a workshop at a fair. I know with Country Living, man, they had the hot setup. We go to the one in upstate New York, and of course I forgot the name. It starts with a B. It's so much fun. Oh my goodness. And Annie Sloan, I saw Annie Sloan paint and talk about painting. It was really wonderful. And of course, wonderful shopping, food, the whole 9 yards. All right. When you're painting a piece like this, the important thing to not do, and sometimes it's hard to resist, is not to overwork the paint, right? When you're painting, if you missed a spot, you could get it during the second coat, because we don't want to make it all beady and clumpy. All right, I'm just gonna go around the edge. Have you guys ever been to the Country Living Fair? I just love to go. I love to go. We have a lot of farms in Connecticut, and a lot of those kind of, you know, 4-H country type fairs. I love to see the ox poles, the horse poles, all that kind of stuff. Also the tractors. But I always worry that a piston's gonna come off a tractor. But I love, love, love that, and I've loved it since I was a kid. Church fairs. You used to be able to, and you still can, get some beautifully made, you know, things by church members, and that's the coolest to me. All right, now let's get this inside. And you kind of have to go every which way with this paper board. This kind of thing would also be great in a closet. You know, you could hang ties, scarves, necklaces, all that kind of stuff. And yes, I'm working out of the jar. I just realized that. So hopefully I did a good job cleaning this piece and I'm not messing up my paint. So do as I say, not as I do. Do not work out of your paint can, jar, whatever. Okay. And I'm gonna need a little, I'll do this last. I have my little artist brush here because I knew I was gonna need it to get into some of these little nooks and crannies. Go around the bottom. And if you see your brush bristles going into this top coat while you're going around the edge, just wait for it to dry. Go around the edge the next time around. All right, so what I like to do with a little piece like this, to get into little nooks and crannies, I just use an artist brush. And just get in there. And let me tell you, I have a lot of artist brushes. All right. So now I'm going to let this dry, and I will definitely be back to do a second coat. I will do that off camera, and then make sure you join me tomorrow. Let me move this over so you can see the shape. And I'll have the second coat on, and we'll definitely be breaking out the molds and clay and applying those to this really nice little area here that's just crying out for something like that. So that's it, you guys. Any questions at all, as always, ask me in the comments. Have you gone thrifting yet? Are you getting ready for any fairs in your area? You know, what's more fun? There is one, like, of course I love the food, but we get the fried dough. And then the local, it's a local group, and I forgot who they are, but they always have like this amazing fresh corn and chicken. And I'm like, I will wait hours for that, because there's nothing like really, really fresh corn that's grilled quickly. Oh my God, so good. I'm making myself hungry. So you guys have a great day today. Join me tomorrow for